Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Tuesday night bull ring with TRprepper, me, and have quite a cast here tonight. This should be an awesome show. Blue disappeared just then. He'll be back in a minute. Anyway, I have Matt from Resist to Tyranny who stepped away for a minute. He'll be right back. Pop's Quest, Rosie Kelly. Oh, damn, I almost insulted you. I'm sorry. And, of course, me. There's Matt back. I'm live, Matt, just in case. And to start off, I want to let Rosie do an intro. Go right ahead, Rosie.
Glad to be here. Happy Thanksgiving week. Nice to see Matt and Pops. And as usual, TR. And somewhere out there is Blue. Is my audio okay tonight? Okay. Good. Having a little problem lately with YouTube, a little connectivity issue. Sometimes it's audio, sometimes it's video, but real glad to be back with you guys again. Things are very interesting in the world, and that's what I try to do is follow and keep up with that. So I'm glad to be here again.
Cool. Pop's Quest, would you like to do an intro?
I usually don't do too long of an intro, but happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Hopefully everybody's going to take a moment to think about what they're thankful for. Trump train. And, maybe enjoy some time with family, which is what we're going to do, and wish everybody well.
Well, thanks for being here, man. Matt from Resist to Tyranny, Guns, Gear. You say it. Go right ahead.
Politics. Yeah, I finally made another Tuesday night. It's been a minute, so thanks for having me on, TR. I got some free time right now, so I was able to come on. Matt from Resist Tyranny, Guns, Gear, and Politics, and don't have much going on with the channel right now. Got 2 or 3 new videos out in the last week or so. Got a few more I'll probably end up doing over the weekend. But other than that, check it out. All the social media networks and blah, blah, blah. All that stuff. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate you coming on. And for anybody on the panel, it's always an honor to have any of you on here. I appreciate it. You don't realize how much I appreciate everybody coming on and helping the chat. I do appreciate it. So I guess we'll start off with Rosie, as usual, with the economic, not forecast, but opinion of what's going on, especially with the Dow hitting the all-time high. I'm sure you got a lot to talk about, or maybe not. I don't know, but
Oh yeah, there's a lot of talk about. I was on last week with you, and I was talking about. We were laughing about Star Trek and the way they used to have that 3-dimensional chessboard. They'd play like 3 games at one time on 3 different levels, and that's kind of what we got going on here with people having several large money groups having wildly differing ideas about what's driving the current upsurge in the market, and not everybody is going to end up happy with it. Now, what I mean by that, basically, since 1 o'clock in the morning on election, the day after election, when Trump was pretty much declared the winner, we've kicked off this rally overseas in Australia and came into Europe, and we've gone up about 1,300 points on the Dow. We're above 19,000 now. And it's interesting when you look in some of the components of the market and some of the different sectors in there, and one really stood out today, and it was one that has not crossed my radar screen probably since, this is going to tell you how old I am, probably since the early 1980s, and that was a company called United States Steel, U.S. Steel. And it's not, it's small change these days in terms of capitalization against companies like Amazon and Google. But it's a very important company because it's the last of our large integrated steel producers in the United States, and that stock was up like 12 or 13% today, like up $3 and plus a share today. An absolutely phenomenal move, and you don't see moves like this every day. And Goldman Sachs had put a buy recommendation on the hot metals manufacturers and things, and they believe it's because demand is now picking up in China, and therefore the Chinese won't be exporting as much steel to the United States because they'll be feeding their domestic market. That's one of the sectors that says things, that's one of the groups that says, one of the camps says things are picking up, and therefore we're not going to face the importation of steel problems that we've had over the last 10 years. A lot of that will abate and go away. That's number one. Number two is the group that's I'm in, and that's the group that says, remember, Trump made these I don't want to say promises, but these discussions about revising trade agreements and things. And I kind of put myself in camp number two, that I'm not counting on the Chinese to lighten up on the export of steel, because they'd rather their own market be rationed and do without, rather than lose their overseas market. So I'm thinking to myself, it may be because the markets are sensing that Trump is really serious about talking turkey with companies like with countries like Korea, China, and other steel importers, and even India into the United States. So there's the second camp there. And of course, the third camp says, well, there's just so much funny money going around the world that everything's going up in price. And it's interesting that we see such a balance between these three camps, and it's very interesting to see that, because I think the market's starting to think that there might be something to Trump and what he's planning to do after all with the economy. I just hope if it happens, he does it in a smooth and maybe a graduated way. You certainly don't want to set off a trade war. I mean, we export a lot of things out of our country too, but it's very unusual to see those kind of moves in a stock like U.S. Steel. It's probably been 40 years since it moved like that. That really got my attention today. And of course, commodities are rallying. Copper has almost spiked straight up since Trump was elected. And one of the other groups says we got this big infrastructure play coming. Trump's mentioned rebuilding and major infrastructure projects, and all of this is going to heighten the deficit, and it's going to raise the deficit to probably outrageous new lows and new highs in terms of red ink, and therefore it can be considered very inflationary. And it looks to me now as if everybody's grabbing all the real goods they can in the world, kind of getting rid of their dollars now. They're getting the hell out of interest rate stuff. You know, interest rates are rising rapidly here. People are getting hurt in the bond market that have been sitting in there hoping that interest rates will go down again. So there's a lot of money out there that's floating right now, and a lot of that's finding its way into the market. How far does this spike carry? I don't know, pick a number, here, who's to say? But if you take the coupling of, if you take the force of still low interest rates with people moving out of bonds with nowhere else to really go except stocks, you can envision that this could be, as we've talked about before, the potential that we get that big blow-off building now with some phenomenally big days. So keep kind of adjusting course and going with the flow here on this stuff, because there's so much stuff going on right now in terms of the global economy that you really have to stay sharp with this stuff. But it's been exceedingly interesting to see this sort of one-way rally here. So if anybody has any questions on the side over there, but certainly the U.S. dollar is a concern with rising interest rates, and it looks like Janet Yellen is hoping to finish out her term as Fed chairwoman. So a lot of different stuff going on right now.
I did see on as far as trade agreements that Trump said that we were pulling out of TPP flat out. We were not going to do TPP. And I don't know if he has any plans for any trade agreements. I know he's talked about them, but I know from what research I've done, I think that's a good thing that he's said flat out, we're not doing that. No matter what Obama promised, we're not doing TPP. So he may do some individual plans or whatever. I don't know how that affects anything for a stock market, but I know
it affects a lot because you rarely hear all these all or nothing pronouncements out of the executive branch. Everything is kind of spun in cotton candy when it's going to be bad news for the rest of the world. Like, we're not going to participate in the TPP, and no, you can't dump your crap on us anymore. No more one-way trade agreements. This is something really new, TR, that the world's not heard here. Somebody that doesn't wrap an idea in cotton candy to deliver it. It also seems to be somebody that you often get this idea when the U.S. negotiates trade agreements that we give up a lot on purpose so that we have some goodwill that people feel about us. Like, well, yeah, we could be hard-nosed about Korea and say for every dollar of Korean stuff we import, you guys have to take $1 of U.S. stuff. But we never do that. We've never done that in the past and insisted on that kind of parity in trade. And it's not just because we don't have the products that they don't want, but this is something very new, TR, this whole trade thing, because when President-elect Trump was campaigning, one of the issues that he hit hard and repeatedly on was trade and unfair trade agreements that the United States has been a party to. But I don't know how you guys feel about that. We always give a little more than we get because it's good for goodwill. And if the economies are stable in Korea and they're happy and they feel good about having a place to sell their products and stuff, it kind of keeps the U.S. in a good light in terms of instability in the Middle East and things like that. So I think there might be more to our trade than just simple dollars, I guess is what I'm saying here.
Well, I mean, if we are truly a world power, we should embrace that world power. I ain't saying we should bully people, but we should just say, hey, just throw stuff out there. This is the way it is. If you want to trade with us, we'll come to some agreement. If we don't like it, we'll walk away from the table, or you can walk away from the table if you don't like it. We don't give a damn. We don't need your shit. We'll make our own stuff.
Wasn't that part of Trump's speech after he got elected? Basically, he said, we'll play ball and we'll play nice with all these other countries as long as they're willing to do the same.
Yeah. I'm just saying, consider that many administrations, Democrat and Republican alike, have seemed to feel like the United States domestic economy is deep enough that we can give up a little bit on trade and international trade because we can pick up the slack and make the adjustments slowly at home. Some industries reach their twilight days. Some new industries are born. And I call that sort of allowing us to be a shock absorber for kind of like the free world in some of the places in the world, like countries like Bangladesh and Vietnam, that we basically don't impose any duties on these countries, because I think to a large extent we do have this vision of the United States of trying to make the world a better place, not just for ourselves, but maybe trying to lift other people's standard of living in other places in the world. I guess I'm saying it's not just a dollars kind of trade policy. I think the U.S. wraps that in some type of diplomacy too when they negotiate these trade agreements. So what I'm saying is kind of what you're saying, Matt, is you're kind of seeing the wolf's cover come off and the fangs kind of be bared. And we're going to play hardball here because maybe enough is enough.
Oh yeah, no, most certainly, yeah. That it's the I I don't know. You said it earlier, like some people say might see like we've been playing it soft on purpose. Is basically kind of what you said earlier.
Yeah.
I think part of that's true. I think part of it is some of the establishment powers that have been in charge are intentionally killing our economy, are intentionally socializing this country to the point where we would have to depend on the government instead of ourselves. And through some of these weak trade agreements, through some of these burdens that the government places on us and on our businesses here, that almost force them to move to other countries. I think that has both those things have a lot to do with it. And yeah, when you saw Trump stand on stage, says, "Yeah, you're gonna play fucking ball."
Yeah.
Was basically what he said, for lack of better words. And I thought that was awesome. I mean, it's been a while since we've had a president.
This is what I'm saying. I think Wall Street and the economy is kind of making this adjustment. Hey, this just wasn't lip service at this campaign. I mean, we're used to kind of presidents running for office and running hard and kind of pushing the populist agenda. But he hasn't backed off one iota from anything, and he's sort of crystallized that more. I contrast that with Hillary Clinton when she was running, and she was a denier, a ridiculous denier about the NAFTA and her participation in NAFTA and flip-flopping. And when the campaign started out, it's a good thing, and then at the end of it, we got to renegotiate NAFTA. I mean, I think that's the third rail that helped execute her when all of it said and done. And her chance is a big part of that trade, and that's probably why she lost a good measure of Pennsylvania and Ohio with her flip-flopping and trying to put lipstick on a pig, so to speak. I think she went up in flames with that. But I think this is the reality I'm seeing, that what he says is going to be done. If we're going to have huge infrastructure spending, well, gee, we have a Congress that's going to approve that money for that now. And then the Treasury is going to print the money, and then we're going to be off and go. And so all of a sudden, I'm seeing kind of this snatch for real goods, for real things, for copper, for steel, for rubber and all these basic commodities. And I'm very much on red alert now in case inflation starts to creep into to our picture here, because you could really see rates spike up here in the face of that. And that's just what we really got to be careful of, that we don't have some shock to the economy because of interest rates and everybody bailing out of the loans that they've made and clawing their money back to move in a new direction.
I mean, look what happens when America does decide to play hardball. I mean, we've been at peace with Japan for 70 years. All we had to do is turn their country into a bunch of walking glow sticks. But it was like, enough is enough. We're not playing. I mean, that's a little bit different than economic hardball, but that's America not fucking playing anymore. And I think
it's also China exerting a lot of pressure on them as a low cost manufacturer right across the Sea of Japan there. But I'm saying, yeah, there's a lot to that. I do believe too, Matt, of what you're saying is stiffening up a bit. But we also talked before that this competition, as brutal as it was almost like a trial by fire for some of these companies. And now maybe companies like U.S. Steel emerge as juggernauts now in the global steel market and things. There's a possibility of that, and we can thank pretty much, I want to say free trade, but maybe a bit one-sided against us for really keeping our competitive feet to the fire. And even just surviving was a lot to be said, was a blue ribbon event.
Isn't one of the ways to get out of the debt to inflate your way out of it And that being said, you know, Trump is not a lip service kind of guy. He's a put his money where his mouth is kind of guy. I mean, from the day he started running, he basically used most of his own money. He eventually started getting donations. I guess the word on the street was he got a lot of small donations, which was a good sign. But even now, I think everything that he said he was wanting to do, unlike any other politician, he's actually going to try to freaking do it. You know, I mean, I think that's the difference, really. You know,
I tend to agree with you because you know, and of course the press is they're going to be trying to look for any little toehold that they can get a grip on this guy. But it's interesting to see, because if we do, Pops, and there's a good chance that yes, you can inflate your way out of debt, but think of where we are now in terms of the way everybody's aligned on the board. You know, globally, everybody's had this 35-year decline in interest rates, really effectively since 1979, 80. All that interest rates have done is decline over that period there. Well, that can't go on indefinitely. You can't fall off the floor. You can only go so low. We talked about negative interest rates as a possibility before. But everybody's been aligned for a generation, almost 2 generations, for low interest rates. So there's a huge pool of money that's sitting and locked into these interest rate things. It's going to get their scalps handed to them when rates start to rise, especially on these long-term notes and bonds. But to go where you are, everybody has to go to the other side of the boat, and this huge shift towards inflation now, and going and adjusting to a higher interest rate environment. And TR, we've talked about this before, that you reach a point where you got to be careful, because if interest rates go too high, your debt service on your debt goes through the roof, and then you have to borrow even more money to do your infrastructure and cover off your service on the debt and things. So it's kind of really what they call a sticky wicket over in England. You know, when you think about the balancing how it's all going to play out here before we have the proverbial train wreck.
yeah, but those interest rates have to go up in order to put the brakes on things, and then you have to find a way to basically destroy those dollars. And as debt comes off the table, I don't know. I'm somewhat confused on the whole thing, but at the same time, I do realize that the inflation rewards the spenders and deflation rewards the savers. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Or is it the other way around?
Yeah, deflation kind of hurts everybody, but it rewards the people that have a dollar in their pocket, because it's so hard to make a dollar.
Yeah, so I guess if we do have some inflation, then people are spending money, the economy grows, and at the same time that same inflation caused people to not go in debt. I don't know. It just seems like that we have to have, if there's ever any way to fix what's going on, we have to see interest rates go up and inflation, and nobody wants that. I think they're stuck on the fact that that's bad, but that's the only way out, even if it's not really a way out. You understand what I'm trying to say?
I agree with you. I understand exactly what you're saying, and this is something that the Fed has prayed for almost 10 years, to have a whiff of inflation, to have a little pricing power on the corporate side to raise prices. This to them signals victory in this fight against deflation, if they can actually see prices moving. Of course, the question is, Pops, when you put it in gear, how fast do you move? I mean, do you have this tremendous jolt that just sends this shock wave through the economy, or do we have a slow, adjustment to the realities? My concern is you have trillions of dollars that are parked in long-term debt, and every time interest rates rise, they act like a magnifying glass to burn up money on that long end. You know, like the rate of loss is phenomenal on that. So how long are people going to sustain that before they start making radical moves to move out of the way of that sinking ship? And this is the thing that I'm saying, that now they're driven out of something safe like bonds. Now they have to consider, you know, maybe stocks or something like that, or hard goods, commodities, grains, pork bellies, cattle, real things out there that are going to preserve that that kind of value. So this is what I'm saying. It's a very delicate balancing. Of course, interest rates are going to go up. This 35-year bull market in interest rates is done. You know, it's just a question of how we unwind it. And I don't want to see the Fed move ahead of what the economy is capable of doing. We have all these expectations that that things are going to improve for steel, that there's going to be a lot of infrastructure spending and stuff. What if the things kind of fizzle, and then we have all these commitments and things like that, and nothing really gets done, but yet the Fed's raising interest rates because the stock market's gone crazy here. Then
yeah, I think where the Fed really got it wrong was they let politics play their hand. They didn't keep up, and now they can't move fast enough to fix it, which is, I think, really going to be the ultimate problem. And moving slowly just causes a panic. It doesn't fix anything. You know,
yeah, it's like a Chinese water torture. I mean, you're going to try to control that, but my concern is if we let runaway goods prices, including stocks, dictate our interest rate policy, then it's not the actual economy that's doing that. You know, it's not because business is so robust that, gee, we have to have interest rates rise to ration it. Companies like Ford and Caterpillar and Deere, they'd be screaming, our business ain't that good that we have to have interest rate rises and all that kind of stuff. But yet, you know, like 1929, the runaway stock market could take the helm of interest rates, and in the face of an economy that's not that super strong, could snuff out the spark that's actually helping to grow that. So to keep that going, yeah, the Fed kept rates too low for too long, and they caused a generation of people to lose the rule book of how the game's even played right now. You know, there's been people that don't even know what to do anymore.
Right, because you rate the Fed should raise rates. It should cause people to not borrow, therefore erasing debt, and they should start spending money. That's what should happen, right?
Well, in theory, one problem we've had is we already have a very sensitive, rates have been so low for so long, we have a hypersensitive mortgage market now where we would love a 4% 30-year mortgage, but percentage-wise, there's a big difference between a 3% and a 4% mortgage in terms of the payments that you're going to make percentage-wise and stuff. So it's gone, I don't want to get real technical, but it's a finely balanced game here, and I think there's a lot of people trying to figure out a three-dimensional chessboard here right now. It's extremely complicated, and I don't think the Fed has a clue. I don't think the Treasury has a clue, and I don't think a lot of people on Wall Street have a clue.
Yeah, I truly believe it's out of their normal ability to do much, because of the way they played their hand over the past, 20, 30 years or what have you. I mean, or the way they haven't lived up to their duty. I mean, everyone hates the Fed, but their job was to manage this, and they failed miserably. So
yeah, and now it looks like the market's kind of taking it away from them. So they've
become a politically motivated or leveraged entity. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. So I think they've lost their. I don't know. I don't see where they can help. I mean, I know what should happen. I think, as a cabinet maker and a business owner and a guy that spends when he, spends and saves throughout cycles of life and interest rates, and I kind of know the basics.
Yeah,
I think they've lost the ability to help. And
well, their contract. Their contract should be up, and we should do away with the Federal Reserve, period. United States Treasury should be the only ones printing money. This is my humble opinion, according to the Constitution, because the Federal Reserve is unconstitutional. Their 100-year contract is up. I say dissolve it. It would be devastating to the United States, but fuck them. We need to do away with the Federal Reserve. It is unconstitutional to have a Federal Reserve. That's just my humble opinion. Only the Senate has the power to coin money, not the Federal Reserve.
I just want to address Redneck on the side. Says if they raise interest, won't it raise payments? And if so, how will people make it today? Most people live payday to payday with not much left to live on. I sense that wage inflation is already starting to creep in here. I see a lot of now hiring. I see a lot of pressure for wage increases, but I think you got a very good point there, because we've had so many years of low interest rates. We've hypersensitized ourselves like orchids in a hothouse to I'm worried that any kind of change in this interest rates in a way that would used to look not meaningful could look incredibly meaningful to people on a percentage basis with making payments, just because we've been so long at this level that so many things have been built into place around this that it can't be deconstructed without a little bit of pain somewhere in here. And the immediate pain is being felt in the people that are holding 20-year U.S. bonds and things like that have already sheared off about 10 to 15% of their value here over the last couple months. Pension funds, other things. So.
Hate to put my little tinfoil hat. It's not even tinfoil hat. Hell, it's in the Constitution. All you gotta do is look it up. Federal Reserve is unconstitutional. Fuck them. We need to do away with it. Their contract's up. Do away with them. It'll kill the fucking country. I know, because we're so based on it, but it has to be done eventually. Eventually, it will be done. The country may collapse in the process, but it has to be done. We've had central banks before and done away with them. We can do it again.
Yeah, well, you would hope we've come a way since 1907 with the Knickerbocker panic in New York, which was really what bred the Federal Reserve and no real lenders of last resort in that situation there. But it's probably a function that the Treasury should take on. I don't see a real need for the Federal Reserve. I mean, they don't really do a whole hell of a lot. They're usually interest rate followers anyway. They usually follow as opposed to setting. But, the only time that they really come in handy is when you have times of extreme crisis and banks are pulling their credit lines from each other, because banks do a lot of interbank lending and stuff, and they're always very hypersensitive to somebody's potential default status, and they quickly withdraw their lines. Interest rates go soaring because nobody wants to lend, and then you have your classic panics occurring. And I think that's why the Fed was set up to come into the breach of those situations and sit everybody down and say, here's what we're going to do, and here's the money we're going to make available, and here's the consequences of this loan when we bail you out. So does it have to be the Federal Reserve? No. Why can't it be a Treasury function? You got me. So
yeah, didn't mean to derail the conversation there. I know most people watching this chat, the ones out there, they know where I'm coming from on that. So, and I know Matt does. I'm pretty sure Rob does.
I know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I know where you're coming from. It's like, where does it fit in the scheme of our constitutional government? It's correct. It's one of those agencies, super government agency that has tremendous power that's not accountable to anybody.
Yeah.
So
it's something that's going to have to be dealt with eventually. whether it fails on its own or if it's just dealt with head on, eventually it will have to be dealt with. I'm not saying Donald Trump's going to do it, but he may set us on the right path to get going that direction. I'm seeing a lot of things I like about Donald Trump. Donald Trump was not my man from the get-go, but he's doing a lot of stuff that I really like, and I'm really psyched on what's going to happen. I mean, he may end up being a total failure. I don't know, but so far, I like the directions he's going with the fact that he's not letting lobbyists in the White House. Some of the contracts he's making people sign, if they get on his cabinet, they can't be a lobbyist for 5 years after that. Doing away with the TPP, he's that's done. And there's some other things. So there is hope for America.
We talked about the big, and he's continuously pounded on this infrastructure thing. And of course, we've heard 5 or 6 presidents talk about how the infrastructure is weak in our country and we need to improve it. And no doubt we do. I mean, there's a lot of decrepit infrastructure in this country. The question is government spending, is that the strongest and is that the best way to move an economy forward by borrowing, by doing this, what I call sort of Japaneseizing, where you keep borrowing and putting it into stimulus programs and putting it in, but that's not the free market driving those kind of things. That's government stimulus doing that, and you wonder if it's going to have legs beyond. There's no doubt that it'll create demand, and there'll be things like steel and copper and cement and construction jobs and things like that. It's just you wonder what the trickle down is going to be in the economy of these kind of programs. Is it going to end up like Japan, which is basically didn't do anything at all to do anything, or is it going to? I guess I'm more of a free marketer that believes it's got to come up from down below the prosperity and not to be borrowed and sort of injected from the top.
Why can't he just let the Fed pay for all the infrastructure?
They will anyway. They'll be paying for it anyway. So their bookkeeping,
eventually it comes out of our
they add a couple zeros, they will be effectively crediting the United States Treasury with $600 billion and taking down more government bonds at the stroke of a pen. So
yeah, but let's just wipe away those bonds.
so
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we wipe away people's pension holdings. We wipe away, 40-50% of pensions are debt obligations.
So they create money now to lend it to banks that lend it at a × 10 ratio, basically, right?
Yeah, I mean, they do fractional lending, right? I mean, you keep 10%.
And that's the whole point. But then don't the banks take that money and then buy treasuries with that same money? And isn't it just a freaking looping cycle, so where they can skim off?
That chain now broke. That's the point I'm making. And now they suck down so much of that debt, and so much of that is stuffed into people's portfolio that all has to be unwound at tremendous pain right now. So all of a sudden that loop just got crushed. Everybody that played that game, and it's like musical chairs. If you didn't get the hell out and you don't got a seat on the bus out of there, you're stuck holding that crap. So let me turn my volume down. It's very interesting, Pops. I think you make some points. It's like I said, a sticky wicket. There's no easy way out of it. If you wipe off the debt, you wipe off somebody else's balancing asset. Somebody's debt, somebody's debit is somebody else's credit somewhere in the system there. So somebody ends up in the short end of the stick on the deal.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to figure out a way to make the Fed end up holding the short end of the deal, I guess. I don't know if there's a way to do that without just abolishing it. I don't know.
Well, haven't they done that since 2009, Pops, when they've sucked back all this crappy mortgage debt and all this other crap that was written by these Clinton's mandate to Greenspan that we make housing more affordable and liar loans and no money down and all this debt that blew up and all this student loan that's exploding? Hasn't the Fed already taken down sucked so much of that stuff in and absorbed and issued new paper on that to clean paper to people?
Yeah,
I mean, ultimately, they're going to have to buy every dollar of debt in the world anyway. So,
yeah, I guess that's the whole point, is just create a black hole. And
yeah, exactly what it is. That's a fucking brilliant. It's a black fucking hole with gravitational pull that pulls in every damn dollar. That's it.
Just let them suck it until it's gone and be done.
That's the most brilliant thing I've heard in 2016 right there, Pops. That's genius. You should be on the cover of Economist magazine for 2017. Ooh.
I don't know about that, but
well, Pops is a business owner. He understands money coming and going and what it takes to run a business. And so money coming and going, in a realistic point of view, so you're looking at it as a realistic point of view, Pops. The government looks at it as some kind of fairy tale. It's just like, oh, fuck it, we'll just print some more money. It don't work like that for the
Pops. If you are the manager that ran your business the way the Federal Reserve runs the books of the United States government, that guy'd be out on his ass at the end of the month. You wouldn't run your business like that. But they can't play by your rule book. They've got themselves a bigger game of keeping the plate spinning in the air on the sticks and shit. They got a bigger fish to fry than worrying about a little bullshit on a small local level and stuff. So it's all a big game. It is all a black hole. That's exactly it, with increasing gravitational pull to suck everything into it.
Yeah, when you can't print dollars, where every one of them sumbitches goes and comes from. But I mean, I guess if I could print money, I wouldn't need to build cabinets. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. That's exactly right.
Eventually, it'll all come to a head. Eventually. I don't know when, but eventually. And it won't be good. But as much as I kind of want the shit to hit the fan just to kind of get it started, I know that sounds cruel and dark, but with these millennials that we're looking at, if I'm waiting on them to fix this shit, it ain't gonna fucking happen. So as long as I'm still able to, physically do something, I still kind of almost want the shit to hit the fan now, but I really don't. But in some ways I do, because I can't rely on these little fucking snowflakes.
The first derivative of Pops is quasars and black holes and stuff is the fact that we don't really even have a free economy anymore in this country. We've got this engineered sort of mess on our hands here with the Fed at the controls. That's my concern. All the signals of a free market are being wiped out here. They're being lost. They're being extinguished because we have a higher game to play with, trying to borrow our way to prosperity and things.
I'm with UTR. If something's got to correct majorly, I want to be able to, I want to, while I'm able, don't wait 20 years. Let's do this now and get it over with. I mean, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it's not that I'm fucking, biting at the bit for the shit to hit the fan, but at the same time, I see the writing on the wall. Eventually, it's going to happen, and I would rather it would happen sooner than later. And you know, it's more of those things. It's more of prepare for the worst, hope for the best kind of thing. I hope we can fix it. I really hope we can fix it. I don't see how we can. I can see how we can make strides to fix it, but in the end, I'm not sure. The fucking our government is such a huge monster that I don't know that it can be fixed.
Well,
But
the way you fix it, TR, is you reverse it the way it went on, and it all begins with running a account surplus instead of an account deficit. Now, with President-elect Trump coming in, our infrastructure spending and other programs like that will likely exacerbate or even make that deficit larger going forward. So, in a way, he'll do some good things, but in another way, it could hyper exaggerate an existing trend that's already in place here. And then we have even more borrowings and more, and it just becomes one day you wake up and it's all ludicrous and it all went into the black hole.
Well, maybe one of the best talents that Trump has is that he knows how to manage a bankruptcy.
Yeah, could be something to be said for that. Yeah.
I mean, if you got to flush the toilet, you know, have the guy that can know how to deal with one.
Well, I don't want to monopolize. My last point will be this, that we just have too many people, and the problem is we just don't have enough productivity in this country. We don't have enough people working. We have too many people just collecting and that aren't productive in this country, and it's catching up with us. And it's, you know, every time they borrow a dollar to try to paper over that reality of that situation, that's what really hurts us in the long run. It insulates us from the need to be productive in a Darwinian way and get our shit together.
yep. And I know he hadn't said anything about it, but Trump, as a businessman, okay, we have the presidency. You know, he's president. We have the Senate. We have the House. I know he hadn't said anything about it, but there should not be. He should. You don't have to look into it the first year, but he should look into zero deficit. There's no reason in the world our government should be borrowing money year after year after year after year. There's no way we can even think about a recovery until we get down to zero deficit. Not zero debt, but zero deficit. We'll never start paying back our debt until we get back to where we're making more money than we're spending.
Well, that was my point, TR, to you, that he's potentially moving in the other direction now. But when you do try to take that zero balance, you have two choices: either raise taxes, and now we're looking at the prospect of less taxes going into the Treasury with a tax cut, which of course should be stimulative, and hopefully it'll be an offset in increasing incomes and more revenue going into the supply side thing. And my point is, if you shear away all that deficit borrowing and just say, you know, we're only going to spend what we take in, and then all of a sudden you drop a real deflationary wet blanket on the economy there, and you've lost sort of you've lost that engine of federal pumping to try to keep things going here. So I don't want to say it's a checkmate situation, but it's a pretty tenuous. It's a pretty ugly situation when all is said and done.
Well, the way I see it, with the amount of debt that we've got, a healthy dose of spending the right way, and then somebody with a business mindset that can cut all the crap that is, you know, this spending that government does on nonsense and bullshit and entitlements and all that. If you just cut all of that and then spend it on something that actually matters, you know, it's a balance. We're going to quit doing all this stupid shit, and then we're going to take all that money and move it into something that actually powers the economy. You know, I mean, again, from a business point of view, it's pretty simple. Now, what if I was paying a guy to sit on the sidewalk every day to wave at people going by? But I could, instead of paying his salary, I could, go buy a new piece of equipment. I mean, you tell me what I'm going to do,
Well, if I would ask TR, is deficit spending even constitutional? Is that unconstitutional? Is it the government's job to try to, as you say, Pops, to target spending to create and try to create prosperity? I mean, do we get on the same? Are we on the same level as having a Federal Reserve? Is there any difference between that sort of activity that maybe shouldn't be in government hands at all, and what the Federal Reserve does?
Well, I mean, the government could do deficit financing or deficit whatever, but by the Constitution, the only people that can print money is the Treasury, or really the Senate is the only ones that can authorize the printing of money. Coin money is actually how it says. And we have given that to a individual, totally got nothing to do with the fucking government, Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve has nothing to do with the government. We gave the power to coin money to the Federal Reserve. That is unconstitutional. It needs to be took away from them. In one day, we can't do it overnight, but it needs to be took away from them. And it'll hurt. Our country will suffer for it. Our people will suffer for it. But it has to happen. As far as I'm concerned, we could just dissolve all debt from the Federal Reserve, declare it unconstitutional, and say, you know what? We don't owe you a fucking dime. Boom. We're debt free. Let's start over.
Well, just
That's
remember what I said. Your freedom from debt is somebody else's freedom from an asset that they had and counted on. So it's kind of a balanced kind of thing there.
Yeah, well, I mean, Iceland did.
There was a good faith bargain made on their side of the equation that they would be paid back and lent the money in good faith.
Yeah, but they're the ones. They're the ones that came up with the Ponzi scheme. So fuck them. I don't give a shit about them. They come up with a Ponzi scheme, got us to agree to it. Now they're fucking flourishing from it. As far as I'm concerned, fuck them. Cut them off. Hang them in the street. As far as I'm concerned,
yeah, don't you
criminal charges.
And in a bankruptcy, don't you have a trustee that handles all the assets and the liabilities of that entity? So what you do is you abolish the Fed. You get a good trustee in there, like I don't know, somebody that is good with business and stuff, and you slowly dissolve it and make sure the assets and the liabilities are taken care of the best way possible. And yeah, in a bankruptcy, people come out on the short end of the stick. That's the bottom line. You're not gonna save everybody, but what you do is you go in there and with a scalpel and you make sure you don't take care of those certain people that shouldn't be taken care of, if you know what I mean, through the process. And then you make sure all the little people, if you will, are made whole, and then you cut and run and set something else up. I mean, I don't know. I'm speaking in, again, business bankruptcy terms. That's the way they handle a good bankruptcy.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff is held in state and local pension funds and things like that. So the suffering will be tremendous all the way down the line on the asset side too.
Yeah, but it could be done over time as well, though. It doesn't have to happen in 5 years. I mean, you could put 100-year timeline on some of this stuff and start up another, a parallel method of printing money or what have you, while this one's being managed into obsolescence or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be able to borrow any money anymore, but it'll be interesting to see.
Well, you would have private loans And you know, a private loan is kind of what we're after here. You know, we want to get the banks out of the equation, and if those loans weren't available, there would be those private loans that would be absolutely perfect and separate from the economy and any political pressure and so forth. I mean, the private market always steps in and takes care of
I
the
guess
needs.
my question would be, what assurance would they have that they get paid back of their money that they lend?
Well, interest rates would be heavy because there isn't any insurance on a private deal. You know, it's like me going to you saying, "Can I borrow $20?" You know, I mean, you got there's
but
no
I'm saying
insurance.
it's a lot more difficult to attract borrowers once you've affected a bankruptcy, and lenders once you've affected a bankruptcy. It's like once bitten, twice shy, I think is the old saying. You know, it'll take a while. It's a mess, Pops, but it's you know, we'll see what happens. So
Yeah. Well, that's my only thing about saying you would have a timeline of a long time, I guess, to where people wouldn't freak out too much and adopt a new system, currency, money, what have
Well,
you.
we have to.
You know,
We have to get the jobs back in America. I mean, it does need to be a long-term thing. We have to be, if the jobs are not here and we're borrowing our way into the future, is what we're doing now. We're paying a credit card off with a credit card. I just pulled up, Danny. This is just one quick search. There's right at 22 million government employees compared to the 12 million manufacturing jobs. We have 1.8 people to 1 in America working for the government service jobs. What are you fucking doing in the government? You're not providing shit. You're not manufacturing shit. You're not doing nothing to provide for America other than a service job. We got 22 million people in government compared to 12 million in manufacturing. We got to get the jobs back. You know, I don't know. Maybe I jumped off subject there, but that is the plain thing. If we don't have jobs, if we're not manufacturing, if we're not doing shit, we're just keep borrowing our way into the future, and that's what we're doing. Are we not? Did I miss the point? You can't have a service industry country. That means equals to a third world country, and that's where we at or headed.
yeah, no, I think what you said is exactly the path that we're on. We're borrowing our prosperity. We're not earning it.
That was about an hour on economics. I think I had a few people getting a few people might have got sidetracked on that. I don't know. So we can talk about guns or something now. Or we can talk about, hey, how's your camper doing, Rosie? I know you've had it out on the road.
It's doing great. Yeah, I just have to get the fridge fixed. I'm looking forward to going out boondocking again and hitting the streets and trying out the systems, getting the propane going. So yeah, it's gone really good. It's be a nice bug out vehicle too for getting out. So hey, Saint, nice to see you. No, it's just it gets deep when we talk economics, and but it affects us all. You know, we're all vested in economics more than probably anything else. Maybe religion and economics, but other than that, you know, it's where the rubber meets the road, a dollar in your pocket or not.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to bore people with economics and ways to fix things, correct things, where they're going or whatever. Whether we care about them or not, they're part of our life. Ignore it. We have to talk about it. Somebody's got to talk about it. Somebody's got to take because to be honest, it's way over my head. and you know, Rosie, I've been talking to you for over a year now, and it's still over my head. But I'm learning. I'm trying to get a hold of it. You know, trying to get a concept of it, because it's such a complicated subject that most people just don't really give a shit about it because they can't understand it. You know, so hopefully this chat breaks it down to a level that people can understand it. And I'm not insulting anybody because trust me, I still don't understand it. I am trying my best.
Well, it also drives the point that life is for living, and you can sit around and talk about this day in and day out, but you still have to live your life. You still have to get your enjoyment. You still have to try to help people and do what you can in the world. I mean, that's the reality of day-to-day life.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things about the economy, that just like TR said, was that most people, it's just too much to get their brain wrapped around, me included, and so therefore it's a non-issue when it needs to be front and center. But you're right, we can change the subject. I just wanted to tell you I agree with you. It's not an easy thing to wrap your head around.
All right, I'll change the subject for a minute. I hadn't posted it yet. I'll post it the next day or two. I did a review of my HK P7. HK Perfection. That's what the title is going to be, because this is the perfect semi-auto pistol ever made. It's a work of art. Glock lovers. Even though I didn't shoot it that good, I was shooting way to the left when you see the video, but they still shot a good group.
Yeah, that's that freaking hand cocking deal that I shot a couple of years ago.
Yeah. At the first Armageddon, I let Pop shoot it.
That's
no.
a very, very cool pistol, I have to admit. I think it went bang every time I pulled the trigger.
I was going to, I was carrying this damn gun for a little while. I got a couple of holsters for it. Then I found out it's worth about $2,000, and I was like, "Oh, well, put that back in the safe." They get in a shootout, the fucking police will take it from me. I ain't having that shit.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Let me carry a Glock. Man, I can get another one of them for $400.
Yeah, the prices are coming down. I don't know. What's everyone's feelings on price of guns and ammo now that Trump's been elected? I mean, stuff was so cheap already. Do you really think it can come down anymore?
I seen Real Cobra Burnout did a video on Black Friday, and he was talking about how he couldn't find any deals. I mean, to him was I think they've already hit bottom floor. I don't know that you can get any cheaper than it is now. Right now is the optimum time. You know, if you counter in inflation, right now is the best time to buy guns, ammo than it has been in a long time.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's why there are no real deals right now. I've seen a couple things, and I've actually done a couple online purchases, some twisted stuff that worked out pretty good for me. But I don't. Does anybody here Black Friday shop? I don't Black Friday shop. I never have. Rosie, you do?
Just more Cyber Monday.
Oh, you don't. More Cyber Monday. Okay.
I do, just not really on Black Friday per se, but certainly Cyber Monday when all the computer and electronics and stuff comes out.
Yeah.
Online.
Yeah, I think everything is slowly shifting to online. I mean, I don't really know how the brick and mortars are holding their own anymore. I know we've talked about it.
That's one of our themes of last year, Pops, was, you know, everybody looks in the store and then buys it online. If they window shop the store and price shop online. So.
And what that does is that brings everybody's price to the absolute same price at the lowest price that they can make a margin on and still survive. And they have to make it up in volume. And, you know, there's no, it's almost like you can go to any website and the friggin' price of everything is the same, you know? It's
all commoditized. Yeah.
yeah, it's all.
Yeah, that's been a continuing theme for probably almost a year and a half on these chats now. Is that they've crushed out the whole distribution level of stuff in this economy.
Well, which is good for us consumers, but you know, I don't know. I guess hopefully those employees of those companies make a decent wage. I mean, what does an Amazon worker make? I don't know. I mean, if you're filling orders, filling boxes, you know, a lot of that stuff is all automated. You know, they got these robots that go up in the bins and pick the product and throw it in a bin, and it goes down the track and it throws it in a box, and there's one person at the end freaking saying goodbye to the UPS driver.
Don't forget your lunch.
Yeah.
And on a side note, just for Rob, the person that won the $50 gift card that I gave away, I did get it to them. They contacted me, and I was able to get it to them because I didn't recognize the name either. And I'm not going to say it here what their channel name is, but it is somebody that's on YouTube. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you again for that. That was killer.
They contacted me, and I knew who they was, and I was like, yeah, no problem. He was like, I'll send you a copy of my ID, and I was like, he ain't gonna do that shit.
Well, I
trust you.
I made a comment about that, and I just was like, you know, I can't remember what comment I made, but I just wanted to make sure it was on the up.
Oh yeah, yeah. He contacted me. It's somebody that a lot of us know. So, but I don't want to give away his real name, his YouTube name, and all that. So, but he did contact me, and I did get it to him. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but I think prices are about as low as the manufacturers can get right now. And I don't know if we're going to see. I mean, you might see. I know, like I said, Real Cobra Burnout was talking about some 5.56, and it was like, like 420 rounds was maybe $10 off what I could get it at Walmart. And it was like their Black Friday sale is, $10 off 420 rounds. It was like, yeah, it's a little bit cheaper, but it wasn't like, oh shit, let me knock somebody down to get to this, kind of sale,
Yeah, and on their same Black Friday deal, they got Fed boxes of 22 long rifle for $25 a box for 325s. I just got done doing a really cool Cabela's deal where I bought 6 of those for $102. I'm looking at a receipt right now. I'll probably put up a video on that next week. But I mean, if you can go out there and find it for that cheap right now, that ain't no damn Black Friday special. There ain't many specials right now. Like, yeah, I think we can all agree on that.
I think last year, or was it year before last, Walmart was kind of hoarding 22s. And then right before Thanksgiving, they put it out. And they made a mistake and put it out before Black Friday. When the black box 22s came out. So I'm kind of, just keep your eye open in case Walmart's been hoarding 22s to throw out on the shelves on Black Friday. It may not be a killer deal, but it may be even at regular price. If they put it on the shelf on Thanksgiving or day after Thanksgiving, you may have an opportunity to buy some 22s. So there you go. Just want to say that. Just keep your eye open for that. It's not just a killer deal. It's just that you might be able to get a hold of it. Because in some places, 22s are still really hard to get a hold of.
Yeah, I mean, you'll still be an ammo case though at Walmart. They have rules, but that's really funny because I know up there you said it's never around, but in every store down here, there's plenty of it. So, and those little Christmas boxes of 22 or $3.47 a box. I mean, you know, that's $7. That's 7 cents a round for CCI. I mean, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I think it was last year when they come out with that black box CCI standard velocity. They came out with it before the Black Friday. I could have got more, but I ended up with 9 boxes of it. I ended up with 900 rounds of it. Might have been the year before last, but I think it was last year. It's pretty good ammo. I mean, it wasn't really super cheap because it was CCI and the plastic. That was a cardboard box, but it was like $7.50. But CCI is always more anyway, so it was actually normal price. I would consider it a normal price.
Yeah, I saw the Saint made a comment about the ammo resellers are eating lead right now. You know, a lot of those guys are a lot smarter than you think. They're not having no problem, because it's not. I've always said in business, you don't make the profit on the sale, you make it on the buy, which is why I always keep in check my buy price. You know, we know what this thing's going to sell for. We know what this cabinet's going to sell for, but how little can we pay for the goods that go in them? So that's where you really make your profit, on the front end of the sale. Well, if you know what a 50-round box of ammo is going to sell for, you make your money when you buy that, not when you sell it. And that's one thing you have to remember. Not to bust on anybody, I'm just saying.
No, that's fine. I mean, I really don't have a big problem with the guys buying ammo and reselling it. I do have a little bit of problem with it, but that at the same time, it has to do with the market. If they buy up all the ammo and nobody wants it, they have to sit on it. So they're taking a risk of sitting on a bunch of ammo that they can't unload at a higher price, because eventually, if the market comes back and I can go buy it at Walmart for $25 or $500, I don't need their $50 a 500 box. So you go ahead and you can go out there and buy it and do what you want to do with it. But if you get stuck with a bunch of ammo, that was your risk. You know, I'm not
Right.
downing them. I'm just saying I'm not paying $50 or 500 for your 500. I will wait for it to be able to buy it Walmart for $25 or 500. So
Right.
you
The
can
risk. Right. The risk is where the reward lies. You know, you have to be willing to take that risk in order to realize that reward. And that's, you know, that's why I said you have to be careful how you buy it. You know that a week from now you can sell it for this, because nothing fluctuates that fast. So it's how you buy it, not how you sell it. Because the sell price, it's like these people that flip homes. Before they even buy the home, they know what they can sell it for. So what they need to do is buy it right. Know how much money is going to go into it. They already know what the profit's going to be. Then all they have to do is do the transaction and then see the other side of the deal. It's pretty simple.
I answer Blue. He's on the panel and I'm answering him out there. Anyway, I got this pretty cool app I put on my phone. A buddy of mine told me about it. I'll go ahead and tell everybody. It's called Wiki Arms. WIKI arms. He bought bulk 9mm here the other day, 9 cents a round. He had to buy 1,000 rounds, but he bought it for 9 cents a round. So
holy crap,
there's deals out there to be had.
Yeah,
That's
pretty good deal.
I wonder if that shit stovepipes.
It was probably, I'm sure it was Russian steel cased ammo, but I don't care. Hell, I shoot steel case all the time. That little review, I didn't shoot that much, but what little I did shoot with 8K P7 was Winchester steel cased ammo. I'd never shot it before. It shot way left. I think it was ammo because I don't remember this gun shooting to the left like that, but it shot, it fed, you know. I think steel cased ammo is going to be more and more prevalent in our future. I'm seeing more and more of it. I used to never see steel cased pistol ammo. Now I'm seeing it a lot.
How about aluminum?
Yeah, more aluminum too. Yeah.
I mean, I like the Federal aluminum. I've never had a problem shooting that.
Yeah, but here the Federal aluminum is the same price as the Perfecta brass. So
Wow, here it's a lot cheaper. Strange.
you know, it's like $10 a box of 50 at Walmart for both. I'm like, why would I get the aluminum? I just want the brass, you know.
Yeah, we don't have that. We're probably 15 to 12 or something like that on it. So
that's if you can find the Perfecta. I mean, some people say it's drying up, but then it shows back up like tons of it. I don't know. Sometimes I think they say it's drying up to create a little panic or something.
we had a little bit of a Hillary panic, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, now that Trump got elected and the threat of guns and ammo, at least nationwide, I know state by state that can vary. I got a feeling that, like you said, Pops, we're going to see about as good a price as they have made. This is my prediction. I guarantee you they were pumping up the production on the basis that Hillary was going to win, and then there was going to be a run on ammunition, a run on magazines, a run on everything. And now these manufacturers are going to be not necessarily stuck, but they're going to have a surplus of goods. I really think we're going to see some really good deals and low prices, or at least not any higher than they are now, for at least a long time to come, or at least a short while to come. Because if you was a ammunition manufacturer, a gun manufacturer, a magazine manufacturer, coming up to this election, you were probably running 24/7 just as hard as you could, pumping out as much product as you could to sell to the public, because you know a run was coming. Then Trump got elected, and then it's like, oh shit, now we got all this inventory. I really see that happening.
Yeah. Hey, Matt, on a side question, what's the cheapest you ever found like an AK Tapco magazine for? I mean, from like a store or like an online store, you know?
Your mic's not working, Matt.
Maybe that's why he's been so quiet. Yeah. Yeah, Academy's got them for 10 for $39 right now. Thought that was I can't imagine paying $4 for a magazine, but they're there. They're there right now. It's crazy.
How about now?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, $4. I think it was Kentucky Gunworks, something along those lines. I bought a 10-pack for $40 a few years ago. I was actually getting ready to share something out in the chat room that Classic Firearms has them on sale for $4.99 right now for the standard Tapcos.
Yeah, Brownells. Brownells has them for well, they're $59 a 10-pack, but they're on sale right now for $39.99 for a 10-pack. But they're in the orange color if you can deal with that. No limits. You can buy a freaking 1,000 if you want, but pretty cool.
Have you used any? Do you have any Tapcos, Pops, for your AK?
I will in a few days.
I know.
I couldn't let that deal go by. I mean,
I'm telling you, man. People, I don't know that Tapco makes any other product that's worth a damn. But as far as AK-47 mag, Tapco is a damn good mag for AK-47. These son of bitches work.
And at $4 a piece, I mean, how can you not? I mean, the way I look at it is I'll throw them in a freaking zombie apocalypse 5-gallon bucket and bury them on the farm somewhere. I mean, or flip them for $6 or $7 a piece one day. I don't know. I can't, you know, certain things get to a certain price and I can't look the other way. It's an addiction, I guess.
Well, for longevity, the metal AK mags are definitely the better option. You can get them for around $9 a piece. However, I can take a hammer and hit the sidewall of a Tapco mag with the approximate same force as I can the sidewall of a steel mag, and the AK mag will keep working, and the steel mag has a giant freaking dent in it where it will not feed anymore. So I get, you know, you give and take a little bit.
Yeah, it's like that old Rubbermaid commercial where it kept bouncing back and stuff. I mean, same concept, you know. It's got its place, and it doesn't, you know, I guess it doesn't rust or what have you. But no, I love my surplus mags. I love the way they feel. I love how heavy they are. I love when you click them in, it's like click, you know. I love the feel of the steel mag way better than the plastic.
I think the only thing that concerns me with the Tapco mags is the locking lug wearing down over time. If you keep using them, I would think that they would wear down. Oh, Back Jack. Yeah, TRprepper. You can buy them at an RTT store. But that's the only thing that concerns me about them. But I've had these things for years, and I don't use mine like Matt does. I don't use them as much. I just go outside every once in a while and use them. But, I mean, as far as function, they function great. They work in the loader that Pop's Quest makes. But that's the only thing that concerns me is this lug kind of wearing down. But it is so far, I hadn't had any problems. I mean, I bought these in 2007, 2008. And they're still going. And I really can't even see wear and tear on them. But there's a lot of nylon in them. That is a tough fucking plastic right there.
Oh, speaking of plastic pieces of garbage, not that that's what Tapcos are. Do you guys remember back when I made the review of the Magpul Glock mags for the Glock 19? And I said, of all Magpul products, these are the only ones that have ever impressed me. Fuck them too. I've had nothing but problems with those mags for weeks now. Getting stuck midway, you know, not feeding right, having to smack the mag to get the follower to get unstuck. Oh yeah. Now,
if you want cheap mags for a Glock, I say buy. I think that's what I got in here. No, that's a Glock mag. Anyhow, Korean mags. I'm sorry. I know it's not USA made, but damn it, I figured I had one laying here, but I don't. The Korean mags work great in my Glock. I don't have any problems with those. If you're on a budget, I know it's better to buy American made, but Glock mags ain't made in America anyway, so fuck it, don't matter. Buy Korean magazines.
Yeah, that's
That
depressing,
happy
man.
stick
I'm sorry.
That happy stick I put in my, or fun stick I put in my Glock on my Let Freedom Ring video the other day, that was a Korean mag, a Korean 33 round magazine. It worked flawlessly. My finger was wearing out. I barely could fucking pull the fucking trigger on that Glock, but the magazine worked flawlessly.
Yeah, that's depressing to hear about those Magpul mags. I think I picked up 10 the other day for just range fodder. But my favorite new Glock mag is those ETS mags. So far, so good. I like them. They look cool too. We all know that's important.
Yeah, well, now officially nothing from Magpul has impressed me. Nothing.
Not even the furniture for like an AK or anything like that.
Oh, that's the most garbage furniture on the market.
I like that stock they got on that new Palmetto AK. It's like a skeletonized thing. It's pretty solid.
That Dukov stock, Jesus Christ, man. Talk about a fragile piece of glass. I mean, that thing is a piece of garbage.
You need to learn to open up more, man. Tell us how you really feel.
That's the only problem with Matt. He's so seclusive. He don't really tell us what he really feels. One of these days, he's going to open up and really just let us know what's going on in the world, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was at one of the gun stores this past weekend, RNA Tactical, good store. But they had a set of the M-Bus. I don't know if they're still called the M-Bus, but the polymer Magpul sights, flip ups on the shelf, brand new, $35. I was like, damn, dude, that's like the cheapest I've ever seen those things. And he was like, I got a really good deal on a whole bunch of them. He said, you ought to pick up a set just to have extra set of sights. I said, no. I said, you can give me them pieces of garbage.
All right, I'll throw this out there. How about their slings?
Their slings?
Yeah, the rifle slings. You know those, what is it, an MS-1 or something like that? It's like an adjustable padded tactical sling.
How much are they?
Oh, I don't remember. I don't know, 50, 60 bucks maybe. I'm guessing, but
fuck those slings.
They're very smooth.
I got a Condor sling. It's in the closet. One of them adjustable. This 2-point. You grab the strap and just pull or pull back to adjust it with one hand. Works great. $8 on Amazon. Got another one, the one that you guys always see in the videos that's attached to my AK, that tan one. I think I paid $12 for it. It's a bungee, quick release, the whole 9 yards, two point or single point. It was like 12 or $20, something like that. So if you're talking $60 for a sling, no, you're paying $40 for the name.
Highly overrated, apparently.
Yeah, I had to admit, on this AR, I just got a regular 2-point sling, $10 Midway. Where's it at? Yeah, Midway. My other AR, I got a 1-point sling, $10 gun show. I'm not big on spending money on a damn sling. $10-15, that's about my limit. Now Rich at Farmageddon did give me a paracord sling that I hadn't attached to a gun yet. That would be a high dollar sling if you bought it, but it was a gift.
He was over here tonight. He was picking up his boy from the Citadel, taking him back home for Thanksgiving.
Rich, not Rick, right?
Yeah, Rich from Atlanta.
Yeah. Rich is the one that gave me that sling, and I still need to attach it. I got to buy some. It has the what do they call that? Where you got to like push the. It's got the like the
QD.
quick release deal.
QD, yeah.
Got the little ball bearing. You know, you got to push the button. He's got that on it, so I got to buy some mounts. I plan on putting it on this one.
Yeah, it's called QD, quick disconnect, QD.
Yeah.
TR, I just want to jump in a minute and wish happy Thanksgiving to you and Pops and Matt and everybody on the side chat. I got to bail out. I got to make some stuff for Jen. It's on Thanksgiving. So I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving, everybody, and you too, TR. And thanks for a fun chat.
All right, thanks for coming on, Rosie. I do appreciate it. And
Happy Thanksgiving, Rosie.
Thanksgiving too.
Gobble gobble. War Prophet asked a question out there. He said, question, what is the best concealed holster for inside the waistband for Glock 19? Well, you're pretty much, I mean, if you want to get a decent holster or any kind of good holster, you're down to two options, either full Kydex or a hybrid of some sort, whether it's neoprene and Kydex or leather and Kydex. I would suggest going Alien Gear for the hybrid, and for full Kydex, pick a manufacturer. They're all the same. When it comes to full Kydex inside the waistband, they all got about the same clip. You can only form Kydex so many ways around a gun before it just doesn't fit anymore. So, I mean, it's going to have a similar fit, no matter what Kydex one you get. So pick the least expensive manufacturer of the full Kydex, go with that one, or go with Alien Gear, in my opinion.
And I've got the crossbreed hybrid, and I recommend it also. So I don't know, and I've had people tell me, oh, Alien Gear is better than crossbreed. I got the crossbreed, just the raw leather, and it sticks to my body really good, and it forms, and it's very comfortable. And I'm sure the Alien Gear is the same way, but it's and they're not expensive. I think they're 65, something like that.
I'm a leather guy. I got a Galco. This is my everyday carry. I carry Glock 17. It's a Galco leather. I think it was $55. Ain't it Galco? Yeah, Galco.
I think any decent name, company makes, good stuff. You just figure out what you like for you and go with it. The thing about holsters is you end up owning like 3 or 4 or 5 because you end up trying different things.
I hadn't seen them in a while, but Fuzz T-Fork 8 gave me this holster. He sent me this holster, and it's from Tagua, T-A-G-U-A. I didn't think this would be a good concealed carry holster, but actually, I can conceal this pretty well. As long as you got a long enough shirt to go over your, waistband, go down far enough. I like this holster. You wouldn't think carrying on your side would work, but it actually does.
War Prophet said he wants soft. I would go with the hybrid leather and Kydex from either Crossbreed or Alien Gear. They both make good holsters. This one's significantly less expensive than the other.
Yeah, the hybrid holsters are the way to go. They look like they would be uncomfortable, but those are really good holsters. I have one for the HKP7, a hybrid holster, and it's this big, bulky looking thing, but when you put it on and you put the pistol in, it's like it just really distributes the weight across a greater plane of your back and makes it really easy to carry. It really does. My 2 cents.
Yeah, I was showing that same holster you got for the 42. Very comfortable, very simple, I think it was $30 or something like that.
Now that holster I just did a review on, that Harry's holster, inside the waistband holster, that is actually, to me, kind of stands out a little bit as far as the inside the waistband Kydex holsters, because all the other inside the waistband Kydex holsters that I've ever had, and you guys might know what I'm talking about if you ever used a Kydex holster, but the gun on a lot of Kydex holsters, the gun almost seems like it drags out of the holster. You know, the retention is good, but it's almost like you can feel the Kydex the whole way out. Like there's almost a drag. And that Harry's holster doesn't do that. It just seems to like, it just clips in, you know, the retention just clips in and it comes out nice. You can draw the pistol nice.
Is it the thicker Kydex?
No, not any thicker than like the Vetter holster that I have. Then the Vetter holster is a nice holster too.
Because I've heard there's two different thicknesses of Kydex that most of the holster makers use, and on the inside the waistband, on inside the belt or whatever you want to call it, the thinner Kydex will collapse, whereas the thicker Kydex will hold its shape better. But I'm no expert. But
somebody was asking about that urban carry holster, I think it's called. Have you seen that? The one that where your gun sticks all the way down in your pants and you grab the flap and yank this fucking tube sock out of your pants.
And then your gun flies all over the place.
Yeah, and then your gun flops out onto the floor because, you know, yeah.
I don't like that at all. I don't even. I mean, if you have to conceal that bad, you need to get a longer T-shirt.
Yeah, that sometimes that can be a little bit of a challenge. I don't say a challenge, but sometimes I get T-shirts and they're not long enough. I like a long T-shirt so it does cover up. If I do wear something like this outside the waistband holster, I can conceal it. And I do wear this sometimes, but I have to pick and choose what shirt I wear when I do that. Now that it's getting wintertime with a coat, it'd be a lot easier.
I've contacted that Urban Carry a few times to ask them if I can review their holster, see if they send me one. They never have. They never answer me because I've seen so many reviews on it and so many videos where people like pull that thing out and the gun flops on the floor. And then they go into this, well, that could be a problem, blah, 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 blah. I want to make the video, or I go like this, the gun flies out, lands on the ground, and go, this fucking piece of shit sucks, and the video's over.
And then have another holster in the back as a backup, and then draw that gun.
Right. This holster is for when you want to throw your gun at somebody.
Make sure it's not loaded when you do this.
Yeah, I don't care nothing about pocket carry. Every once in a while, I might carry a little 380, my little Caltech in a pocket, but not much. My 380 sees very little use, very little duty time.
What's a pointless caliber? I mean,
yeah, I'm a full size guy. I mean, even a Glock 19. You can call it compact or whatever. I mean, I consider 9mm minimum of a carry gun. There are times I have carried the 380 and that was all I had on me, but very, very, very seldom. I could probably count them on my hand. Yeah, I don't know.
I was talking to the girlfriend the other day we were talking about 380 and 9mm, and I was talking it got brought up like 3 times in 3 days by 3 different people. And it's like, you know, I want this little gun that's got, you know, a 380, or this gun that's got 9mm. They're the same size. Glock 42 and Glock 43 are the two that got brought up. And I'm like, why would you even consider the 380 when there's equivalent size pistols out there that are 9mm that hold the same amount of, the same amount of ammo for roughly the same price, but you're getting a better cartridge and a cartridge that's much cheaper to shoot.
That's what I carry. Like 42. The way I look at it is a 380 ammo these days, like that civil defense I just showed you. I mean, you know, and I am going to shoot you in the face. Don't forget that. But you take a couple of them in the face, and you know it's pretty much over with. You know, most people think of 380.
Pops, you take a couple rocks to the face and it's over with. I mean, it's not saying anything.
Well, I don't know. I think a lot of people think of 380 as these tiny little pocket rockets that hold 4 or 5 rounds. I mean, I've got 8 rounds of civil defense ammo. I mean, after 8 rounds, I'm going to be looking for cover, and I'm not going to stand there and go toe to toe for 8 rounds without considering an alternative. So I think it would be effective to save my life. I mean, do I carry the Glock 19 every now and then? Yep. Yeah, I do. But this is an easy one to carry, so I carry it quite often.
Well, I think also it gets into your average person don't carry as long, and I'll give you a buy. I don't know. That's not the right word. I guarantee you, when you get up in the morning, you put your gun on, you carry it till the moment you get back home. You carry it all day.
Yep.
You know, a 10-hour day, a 12-hour day, whatever your day is. Whereas me, I may strap my gun on, go to work, take it off when I get to work, put it back on when I get off work, or if I go into town, I put it on. I'm out and about for a couple hours, and I get back home, and I take it back off when I get home. Whereas you're carrying your gun the entire day. So I can see where the smaller gun would come into play in your defense.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are times when I'll take it off of me, and like sometimes if I'm sitting at my computer I'm going to be there for 3 hours, you know, I'll pull it off and sit it right next to me because I almost feel like it's better there. But yeah, the minute I walk out in the shop, I throw it back in there, and you know, it's just, I don't know. I'm not going to defend. Everyone has their own ideas of what they should carry. Everyone, and carrying something's better than nothing. And I used to not. For example, for a while there, I didn't carry +1. I didn't feel comfortable doing it. And then for a while there, I carried the 19 all the time. And then I found myself being uncomfortable in certain situations, and this ended up being the gun that I knew I would carry all the time. I can even have this on gym shorts with, you know, a bathing suit on, as long as it's tied on and not just the elastic, and it won't friggin' drag my friggin' pants to the ankles. You know, it's just, to me, it works with everything.
You've inspired me, Pops. You've inspired me to make a video.
Great. Don't bring up my name. Jesus Christ.
You've inspired me to make a video about 9mm versus 380. And it'll be, and the latest argument for the 380 I've heard is, well, if you shoot him in the face, it's great. And then I'm going to go into the list of other things: baseball bats, swords, machetes, everything else that if you hit him in the face, it works great.
Now, you did miss my bulletproof vest video with this ammo, apparently, because this ammo in this little bitty piece of shit 380 defeats a bulletproof vest. I'm just saying.
I didn't say the gun was a piece of shit.
Well, what the hell are we talking about then?
The round.
No, yeah, the ammo in this 380 goes through a bulletproof vest. I mean, I don't know what else I can say to say it's a decent round except for that. But
you said you were going to shoot him in the face, so what matter? What difference does it make?
Well, in case I miss the face and I shoot him in the body and they happen to be wearing a bulletproof vest, it would be nice to know it would go through it and kill them. That's all I'm trying to say. I mean, people make the same argument of a 22. I don't want to be shot with a 22. Jesus, I mean, especially a 22 Magnum. Good Lord, you know. I mean, I don't know. I think any bullet you can put in someone is a good bullet as long as they deserve it. Period.
Yeah. First rule of a gunfight: have a gun.
Yeah.
Whether it's a 25 auto, 22, 380, I don't care. I will never down anybody for carrying a gun, period. I mean, me, I prefer to carry a 9mm. I actually prefer to carry a 45, but I've converted over to the high capacity. So now I carry a Glock or a CZ75 just for capacity. But, you know, at the same time, I do at times carry a 380, you know. I wouldn't feel underarmed with even a 5-shot 38. I mean, I would be comfortable carrying that.
I carried a LCR for a long time with 38s in it. 5-shot little revolver. I mean,
my argument, during those conversations I brought up earlier, was because the people were weighing they were saying this 9mm or this 380, and they're the exact. That more specifically was the 42 and 43. I'm like, they're the same gun. Why would you choose the smaller?
No, the 43 is bigger by like 20%.
By like that much?
I mean, it's bigger. I mean, you want to? I'm just saying, you know. This holds 8 rounds and it's smaller, and 380 goes through a bulletproof vest. So, I don't know. I don't really understand, but
well, a 380 is a 9x18, and a 9mm is a 9x19.
Yeah, and it's a 9mm short. That's all it is. I mean,
why would you want to short yourself?
Yeah,
because he got a little package. You ain't been watching his videos?
Yeah, I got a small package, so I gotta. Just how I roll.
Yeah, but I agree with TR. Carrying is better than not carrying at all, unless it's like a Cobra or something like that. Those $90 Cobra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you just hope the threat of pointing it at them will do the job. Because they are some.
You might as well paint the muzzle on those orange to make it look like an airsoft gun, because.
I had somebody ask me on one of my videos today, asked me if I had to choose between the Radical Firearms AR-15 or the Ruger 5.56, which would I choose? I was like, you're asking the wrong person that question, man. I fucking hate Ruger. I think Ruger should stick to 10/22s and revolvers. Screw everything else they make. And yeah, I was like, you may want to ask that question to somebody else.
I don't think I think that's what I have. No, I do have that new 1911, the lightweight Commander or whatever. But yeah, basically I have the 10/22s. I got a couple of them, and 2 or 3 revolvers. I can't remember offhand, but at least 2 revolvers. But they're all good. They're all good guns. So far, I don't have enough rounds through the 1911 to say anything good. But it you know, the reviews are good on it, I guess. So.
Well, the 1911 is a if they do it mil spec like an AR or whatever. If they do it mil spec, I mean, it's it should work. But everybody knows I'm a fucking Ruger revolver fan.
Oh yeah.
One of them now revolvers, I'm a Ruger fucking fanboy. I love Rugers. But semi-autos, my 22 Mark II and my 10/22 is the only semi-auto Rugers I own.
Yeah, I don't really have a problem with Taurus. revolvers either. I mean,
Yeah, Taurus revolvers are probably pretty good.
I had a Taurus 357 revolver. That was a nice gun. I wish I still had it. I don't even really like revolvers. I wish I still had it. And of course, I got my PT99, but it's almost 30 years old, so it's an older Taurus, and that thing's indestructible. That's a badass gun. It's just, it weighs as much as my truck, so I don't carry it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we got a few minutes. Yeah, I don't down most manufacturers of guns. I just do. I do encourage you to carry a gun of whatever. Like, I'm not a fan of those. I can't even think of the name of them now, but they make the Derringers, 357, 45 long Colts and all that. I can't think of the name of them, but hell, they're really fucking huge. To me, they're a novelty gun, but they kind of hit the fad market there for a while, and it's like, well, if that's all you can carry, I guess that's okay, but I'd rather you carry a fucking 38 than a 2-shot 45 long Colt,
Yeah, they
But
like
people are eating them.
the Bond arms or something like that.
Yeah, Bond arms, that's the one. I don't down anybody that's got one of them. I'm just saying, for the size and weight, I'd rather you carry a damn 38 special or hell, a 380 for that matter.
Yeah, and those little things aren't cheap either. I mean, I think you could get a revolver for a lot less.
Exactly. To me, there's a little bit of a fad thing. I was just like, I just don't get it,
Yeah.
But hey, I'd rather you have that than nothing. I'd rather you had 2 shots than nothing.
I agree.
Southern South 357 said high point LOL. I used to carry a high point. Long time ago, I carried a high point in a Phobos holster. Carried that every day. Yeah, it's a brick. It weighs a ton. But it never failed me. Never.
I mean, one of these days, I'm going to get me a high point and torture test the Jesus out of it, just because. What do you get them for? Like 120, 130, something like that?
150 for a C9.
Yeah. I got to do that. That would be a fun video to make.
Well,
I think the ammo you put through it would cost 10 times as much as the freaking gun.
Yes. Iraq vet. I think it was Iraq veteran.
Yeah, he did it where he clamped it in a freaking vise and shoved shit down the barrel and all that. I mean, it was
he hammered a bolt. He hammered a bolt into the barrel, and that was the only thing that stopped it.
Yeah, that was 5 years or so ago. That was a while back. Oh man.
I know Dan, the firearm guy, he torture tested one. And when he finally got it to fail, he had it tied to a rope behind his truck, dragging it through a damn dirt road or gravel road, and just beat the shit out of it. It finally quit working. He sent it back to him. They sent him a new gun.
You can even show it to him. You can even tell him, look, I took a blowtorch to this thing and smashed it with a hammer and then threw it into the Grand Canyon from the highest cliff. And here's the pieces. And they'll go, okay, here you go.
Yeah, they're probably in big freaking bins, just like huge bins. You just reach in there and grab one out and write down the serial number and send it to you.
It's pretty cool. I've been there. I'm sure Ohio Wolverine, I think, is out there somewhere. I thought I saw him. Of course, I could be lying. I thought I saw him out there. But I'm sure he's been there too. And I think it's Mansfield, Ohio is where they're at. And yeah, you can go right there and get one.
American made, baby.
Yeah.
Love it.
I heard it's a #1 gun of gangsters. So there you go.
I wouldn't doubt it for the price. Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking about getting a new gun here in the next month or two. I'm not saying which, but it's probably a Glock.
You got to get a 45 to commemorate Trump's presidency.
Why?
He the 45th president.
Good point.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean,
That's
yeah.
a reason for me to buy a gun. That's all I'm saying.
Like you need a fucking reason.
I went and looked at the Henry catalogs the other day, and I was gonna buy a Silver Boy in like or color case hardened, something kind of on the nice side that was chambered in something 45, and there was nothing available. I was like, all right, it just wasn't my day. But anyway, I got a year to figure it out. I'll figure it out. And a nice color case hardened Henry rifle in like I don't know, 30-30 or 45-70. Isn't it 45-70? One of their chamberings. I don't know. They're only like $650, which to me, you go to like an Uberti or something like that, you're looking at $1,400, $1,200. So Henry's a great value and I know I don't bring them out and play with them a whole lot, but I love the lever guns. I just love them.
I'll have to look into that. I'd like to have a 45 long Colt in a lever action.
Yeah, I think that's the one I was really looking for.
Because I already have 3 45 long Colt pistols.
Well, that's what I was thinking, because I know those pistols are chambered in that, and I think that's why I was looking. But I think they make the 45-70, which I think I don't know what that round looks like. I think it's just a big ass round, but
yeah, it is.
Yeah, but they don't make the 45 long Colt. But that would be a perfect pair. And I think Uberti makes a pair you can actually buy together that are chambered the same. You know, the cowboy shooting and stuff that they do. But
I have to look into that. That's a good point. A 45 for the 45th president. I think that'll be my new quest: is a 45 long Colt lever action. No matter who makes it, I don't give a shit who makes it.
I can't take credit. That's Mule Team 66's idea. So
yeah,
if you get
that's
one,
a
you
good
make a
goal
video. Yeah.
Can I just buy a box of 45s? That way I don't have to buy the gun that goes with it.
You can buy one piece of ammunition. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I don't want you to invest into a whole nother caliber, but I'm talking about something I already got. So a 45 auto or 45 long Colt is something I've already invested in. So that's not a big deal. But that's why I've never bought a 40 Smith & Wesson, because that's a whole nother caliber that I have to invest in ammo, dies, molds, all that shit. And that's why I don't own a 40 Smith & Wesson. 9mm, 45. I mean, I do own some other stuff, but that's the only reason I never bought a 40 Smith & Wesson, is because it just costs too damn much money for me to invest in it. I already got 9mm and 45s. What the fuck I need a 40 for?
I think I dislike 45s more than I do 380s. I mean, I really do.
You would be surprised at the performance of a 45.
And I've shot 45s hundreds of times out of several different makes and models of guns.
Believe it or not, a 45 ACP is more accurate at 100 yards than a 9mm. That has been my findings. Me and a buddy of mine done a bunch of 100-yard shooting with a pistol with 45s and 9mm, and the 45 ACP was more accurate at 100 yards than a 9mm.
Out of a 1911?
Beretta, and I had a 1911. And I'm not saying that you know, energy. Well, I'm just saying, when I did most of my shooting, I do a lot of shooting now, but I used to do a shitload of shooting years ago. And believe it or not, the 45 has a flatter trajectory. I don't give a shit what the books say. The 45 ACP shoots flatter and is more accurate at 100 yards than a 9mm. And if you don't believe me, go back and look at Pop's Quest video of him shooting a rifle at 9mm at 100 yards. We was shooting that better with a 45 with a fucking pistol at 100 yards.
Yeah, it didn't impress me one bit. It really didn't. I don't know if I should try to load some different ammo for that or what, but I'm a pretty good shot, and I feel like it should have done better than that.
Yeah, I was very disappointed with that. Maybe it needs breaking in. I don't know, because I was just like, really? At 100 yards? Me and my buddy used to set up skeet on a dirt bank and shoot skeet at a fucking 100 yards with a fucking pistol. Now, we was on a rest. We didn't hit them every time, but we would shoot all around the fucking skeet. We'd just be all around it, maybe a foot and a half fucking pattern, and eventually hit the fucking skeet. But that was with a fucking pistol at 100 yards.
Yeah, and this was a 16-inch barrel.
The only thing
exactly. About the same fucking pattern I was shooting with a pistol.
The only thing I can figure, the only thing that actually makes sense, because the 45 has a faster bullet drop than the 9mm. The 9mm actually physically has a flatter trajectory because it has a higher velocity. However, as far as accuracy at 100 yards, the only thing I can figure is that the bullet is so much lighter, it's getting blown to one side or the other. Other than and the 45 being a heavier bullet, a heavier projectile is not getting blown in the wind as much.
And that may have been it. You compare a 230 grain bullet to a 115 grain bullet. And also, what I realized with a pistol, it may be like the AR-15. If it's sighted in at 25 yards, it's about the same at 100 yards, because that's what it ended up being. What we aimed at, you got a skeet about this big. I would aim like right at the top of the skeet at 100 yards. So I figure, at 50 yards, I might have been way high, but at 100 yards, it dropped down, and it was about on fucking target at 100 yards. You just had to aim a little bit high. You would think you'd have to aim like 2 feet, 3 feet high. No, just whatever you're trying to aim at. If you're trying to hit this hand, you aim at the top of it, and you'll hit all around it at 100 yards. The books,
well, I'm gonna
lie. It's bullshit.
I'm gonna retry that test with a heavier bullet. I only had 115 grain bullets. I'm gonna throw some 147 grain in there and just see what happens. Maybe for a rifle it needs a heavier bullet, and if I probably won't make a video about it, but if it's like freaking awesomely accurate, then I probably will videotape some of it. But so I got to try that. Other than that, I don't know what to do.
But don't get me wrong. It wasn't that it wasn't accurate enough. You'd hit a man at 100 yards all day long.
Oh, yeah.
Me and my buddy, we came up with the 5-gallon bucket rule. If you can hit a 5-gallon bucket, whether it's 5 feet or 500 yards, if you can hit a 5-gallon bucket, you can hit a man. That's all you need. That's the only accuracy you need, is to hit a 5-gallon bucket. Yep. And you're good. I don't care if it's a pistol, a rifle, or what. Fucker trying to call me and I'm on chat. What the hell's wrong with him? But anyway, that's just my 2 cents. And that's why I've never been an accuracy freak. I'm just like, I just need to hit a target yay big. As long as I do that, I'm good. I'm happy,
Well, that's why you carry 17, 18 rounds. So if you miss the first time, you got another couple shots.
Well, that, I think it's if I remember correctly, the FBI statistics are if you're getting attacked, mugged, whatever, even home invasion, I think any of the above, But if you're getting attacked in any way, shape, or form, you have a 60% chance of it being by more than one person. And they don't specify 3, 4. They just more than one. So that could be 4, 5, 6, whatever. And that's pretty much exactly why I carry higher capacity and an extra magazine, because your accuracy drops a lot under stress. and with such a high percentage possibility of being attacked by more than one person, along with your accuracy drop, I just don't see where 6 rounds is going to do it.
Yeah, Matt, that's when I first started carrying, I started carrying a 45. And with that, I had 9 rounds of ammunition. If I carried my compact, at least 8. And then I slowly transitioned into the higher capacity magazines, guns. And now I actually carry, not all the time, but if I strap on to go into town, I have an extra magazine. So I have the Glock 17 fully loaded, 17 in the bag, 1 in the chamber, 18 rounds, and an extra magazine on me. Maybe overkill, but I would rather have way more ammunition than I need than run out of ammunition. That is why I carry the Glock. Especially with, go ahead.
No, I think it's a good idea. Where I go is in a lot of controlled environments. You know, I think the most vulnerable place I go is when I'm in my damn car or I get out at a grocery store. But at my shop to my house, I mean, when it comes to home invasion, I mean, I don't know. That's a whole different animal. I don't even want to bring that up now because that'll keep us on here for another 30 minutes and it's getting late. But yeah, we should have a whole show about home invasions and getting caught off guard and shit like that. It would be interesting.
Yeah, maybe Sunday we can do that. But anyway, I hate to cut everybody off, but it has been over 2 hours, so let's go ahead and wrap this up if y'all don't mind.
Real quick, earlier I posted an Amazon link. I don't know how many people actually checked it out. I don't know if it's still up in the comments section or not. 2 12x20 3/8 AR-500 silhouette targets, like the one I use in my videos all the time. Steel target, $120 for 2 of them. That is not a bad price at all.
3/8 or half?
3/8.
Yeah.
3/8. So it's rifle plate.
Yeah, 3/8 actually sound better. I made the mistake actually of buying all 1/2-inch steel, and I love the fact that I can shoot it with a 50 cal, but with a 223 round, you almost don't hear them ding, which is unfortunate. So I think 3/8 is the better way to go.
Yeah, $120 for 2 of them is a damn good price. They're normally $80 to $100 a piece anyway.
Sweet.
That's all, TR. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I've been wanting to mention that for a while.
That's no problem. I was just responding to some comments out there. And for anybody new, this is not a gun chat. It's not a prepping chat. It's not an economic chat. It's just a chat. We cover many subjects. Sometimes it'll be all prepping. Sometimes it might be 2 hours of fucking economics. Sometimes it might be 2 hours of guns. Sometimes it might be 2 hours of the politics. You never know what you're going to get here. So I've never promised that these chats are anything. They're just a chat. So with that being said, thanks everybody for coming by. You've been a great audience. Like I've said in the past, I try to keep up and read what's being said out there the best I can. I don't always catch every comment, but I do what I can. And I want to thank Matt and Rob, Guns, Gear, and Politics, and Pop's Quest for being here. I'm going to let them do an outro right quick, and then we're going to sign off. So, Matt, would you like to do an outro and talk about if you got anything coming up that you want to say again?
No. No, thanks for having me on. I was just reading the comments out there. Apparently, we're boring. So later.
Hey, Rob, Pop's Quest, would you like to say anything?
Not much, but thanks for having me. I try to keep up again with the chat, and appreciate everybody out there. And Matt, always good to talk with you, even though you usually are the exact opposite of every point I'm trying to make, which I guess is good in a way. But anyway, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Stay safe, enjoy your family and friends and your time off if you're lucky enough to get it, and y'all be good.
Cool. Thanks, guys, for being on, and I'll see everybody or whoever can come back on Sunday night. Well, I'll have my Sunday night chat. Actually, Thanksgiving, I'll be working. I have to fucking work on Thanksgiving, but oh well, that's life. For Thanksgiving, I'm gonna go visit some friends and have a good time, and it's all good. So with that, thanks everybody for coming by. Been a great group of people that always comes by, and I appreciate it. And we'll talk to you later. Bye.